another comment so that at least we have a feel from two people. Okay, we can start. I think we have even exceeded the time. We can start. People have always, oh, okay. So, Sarah G, I have around 200K, which is the best investment. A few factors come into play. Number one, do you have an emergency fund? Because that's the determinant of how you can invest. Okay. Number two, what is your risk appetite? Are you risk averse or are you willing to go all out and invest in a risky affair and get high returns and be ready when things go south? So, based mainly those two factors. If you don't have an emergency fund, then you cannot think of investing. So, you put that money aside for your emergency fund and then you start saving for now the goal that you want to save for. Now you start saving some money that you will create as capital for your investments. Okay, that is number one. Number two is depending on your risk. You know, there are some businesses you can put in your money and you get returns even within a month, within 2, 3, 4 months. So, are you willing to take that kind of risk? And when it comes to the risk appetite, are you looking at the perspective of getting the money within a short time, because the timeline is also a factor. If you want to access your money within a short time, or the reason we say you should not use it as you should not invest your emergency fund is because in case you need that fund within a short time, sometimes you may be forced to take a hit of a loss to be able to get back your money. What am I saying? If today you have invested in a company A and then tomorrow you need your funds and that is the time the shares have gone down, then you will lose. If you're more speculative, so to speak, and you want to invest and make money, you will target when it's the right time to withdraw. So there are a bit of a few factors that you have to consider. Yes. So Celine has said shares is a single unit of ownership in a company. Yes, you're all right. So investing has one of the people call money market investing. Personally, I don't, because the returns are variable and minimal. I don't know whether that that makes sense. They are not so much as compared to you. Let me just put it this way: you cannot make money market your your retirement. What is it called? Vehicle, because the amount of money you get cannot sustain you unless you have a lump sum which will be able to pay you on a regular basis. Say, like in a month, your lump sum is able to pay you significantly. Say, like if you have saved an amount that can pay you in terms of returns every month, the amount you make today. Say you make 50,000. So if your investment can pay you 50,000 per month, then you see it's balancing based on your life circumstances. So don't look at circumstances of people from a different perspective. Look at your own story because sometimes people say, oh, this one is making 200,000, this one is making half a million, this one is making 10,000. It depends on your saving. So if your goal is to make 50,000 per month, you work towards that goal and it will be able to pay you that 50,000 per month. If your goal is 1 million, by the time you get to the 1 million, it takes you a lot. So it's a game of numbers, so to speak. Okay? So, people, the reason we started with the saving challenge is for you to be able to understand that you have to save before investing. Because if you invest before saving, then it means you're exposing yourself and giving yourself a disadvantage. Why am I calling it a disadvantage? Today, you have saved. Then, tomorrow, today you have invested in shares. You have had maybe a good opportunity to buy the shares at a good rate, and then tomorrow an emergency happens. And the emergency happens when the shares are down. So you see, you will lose in value. But for your savings, you will have saved, and your money can only earn interest, it cannot reduce. So that's why we start by saving. You master saving. You have saving for your emergency. You know how to save for your few things here and there before you get to investing. Because when you get to investing, you have to be ready to be patient when it comes to returns. You have to be ready to take some risk, some level of risk. Okay, so that is why we started with the saving, and we have been advocating for it before we got here to investment. At halfway down the challenge, I am sure most people have mastered the aspect of saving. And even when they go to risky investing, let me actually tell you the truth of what happens. Do you know, you are the person who feels like now you're ready to take a risk? Yes, you are the person who decides and feels that you're now ready for that extra risk. When you're still growing your portfolio, you when you're not there in terms of you have some reasonable saving for your emergency fund, you will not be able to go to the next level and start investing. That is the truth of the matter. Because, first of all, you don't have anything to invest, because whatever you have in your saving portfolio is just your savings for the specific goals. It doesn't matter whether there are those goals that you can maybe forego for now, but the thing is that you are at that point. And when you get out of that comfort zone of looking at investments with small returns, then you yourself, you will feel you're ready to take the risk. Yeah. So basically that's why we now go to the next topic of, we are out of the saving, we are now getting into the investment. Not that we have abandoned our saving challenge, we are continuing with the saving challenge, but we also want to, as we progress with the challenge, we know the next step. Okay, so I'll take you through a few things. I think I'll just do them in a summary, because if I give too much, sorry. Yeah. So shares represent ownership in a company, just like Celine has said. There are two types of companies. Let's start from there. We have a public limited company and a private limited company. For private limited company, when you buy those shares, then that is an in-house arrangement. Like if I have company X and maybe I want to exit, or we want to onboard someone, we just get someone, just between ourselves, or just reaching out to our friends and family and people close to you to buy shares from your company. Or maybe you're looking for just equity, injection of equity, you reach out to people you know. That way you just sell small shares, or you just buy sell your shares and leave. So those usually are for private, and these are traded amongst each other, like me coming to you and asking you to buy my shares, or you coming, oh my god, just a moment, it seems like there was an issue. Let me just fix my TikTok. Okay, we are back. I don't know why they say there's an inactivity. Yeah. So yes, you can buy shares exchanging amongst yourselves as friends, family, peers, or even you can reach out to third parties. Okay, just the same way you do those shares that you have in your circle for Kenyans. I don't know for other countries whether they have the same setup. Yeah, so you get your shares, and when you want to leave, like for your circle, I think that is actually easier for you to understand. For a circle, when you want to leave, the circle will tell you to get someone to buy your shares, or they will guide you as to how someone will buy your shares. Remember, you have two approaches when you're in a circle. You have your savings and you have your shares. So they will ask you to get someone to buy your shares so that you exit. Okay, so that is usually for private companies. For public companies, their shares are listed in the stock exchange market, and that is now where you buy them from. You can actually buy yourself, or you can use an expert. The reason we use experts is because they will guide you on the process of how you can buy the best, or based on your goal. But then, did you know that even when you're buying shares, you have to have a goal? Are you buying shares for long term? Are you buying shares to be getting dividends annually? Or are you even hunting for dividends? Or you have to also have a goal. The sad part about life, if it is actually sad, is that you have to have a goal for every action that you're taking. People feel like goals are set for big life changing decisions, but every small things requires a goal. Okay, so share refers to the individual unit of ownership in a specific company, whilst stock is a general term for ownership in one or more companies. Okay, so how do you make money from shares? There are two ways you make money from shares. There's a capital gain and there's dividends. So what is capital gains? Yeah, so Celine has said, like I said, I'll be reading your comments as we continue. Yes, that's true. I mean, sure score circle, and we have shares and savings. Yes. Yeah. So, oh God, I lost my line of thought. I was looking at, can someone, oh, how you make money from shares. Sorry, I'd lost my line of thought. So, two ways, capital gains and dividends. Dividends are returns you earn every year, or depending on how regular the company pays dividends. And that way, you get a return for your investment. That is usually the most common and perhaps what people think about when they are looking to invest in shares. Okay. Then the key one I would look at, as me, is the capital gains, is how your share is appreciating. So today I decide to buy Microsoft or Apple shares, and they're going for $100. So capital gain will happen when the shares go up. So today I've bought the shares at $100, and then next week the shares go up and they are selling at maybe 120, 150. So the difference between the purchase price and the increment is the capital gains. But on the flip side, you may not always enjoy capital gains. Why? Because if your share depreciates, then it means you take a loss. For instance, if you bought shares at $100 and then this week the price has gone down to 90, then it means your share has depreciated. And that is the more reason that we say shares are fluctuating and you cannot use them as a saving or an emergency fund vehicle, because when you need it, maybe it would have gone down. And they always go up and down. So you can't despair. The first time you find that I bought it at $100, now it's 95. Maybe the next month it has gone to 90, the next month, and all those variances. So you can't despair the first time. You have to give it time to fluctuate. And it is important to know that it is cannot be your investment, it cannot be your saving vehicle for withdrawing at any time. You'll need to be strategic and withdraw when it is that time that it's at the peak. Say you bought at $100 and for one reason or the other, it has gone up to $200. If your goal, remember the keyword is your goal for investing in this particular vehicle towards your creating your portfolio. If your goal was to earn capital gains, you can then wake up quickly and decide to take a decision to sell your shares, because you'll have made 100% returns in form of capital gains. So you bought at 100, you sell it at 200. Imagine if something like that happens within a month, it means your investment has shot by double. Okay, so that is the fluctuations people talk about. I'm sure the question you may have within your mind is, why do people have fear of investing in shares? Because of the risk aspect. Shares are risky, but they also have returns. Remember, the higher the risk, the higher the returns. Uh, Imagine that time that you bought, maybe perhaps you buy shares, and in the course of the year, they pay dividends of maybe say 20% of your share. Say your share is $100, then they pay 20% of $100. So you see, you also get some reasonable returns. Okay, so there are up and downs, but the key thing is you should be ready to hold on to your money, onto your investment until it has given you returns. Yes. I hope up to there we are together. If you have any question, you can drop it down below. So why do you invest in shares? Number one, you cannot always look at the money market, which is risk averse. You need to grow. You need to take that risk. And like I said, based on your investment journey, you will feel when you're ready to take the next step or when you're ready to take a risk. Like right now, you would be feeling like, hey, if I put my shares, I buy them at $100. Please note, I'm using a universal currency so that everybody on the live is not floating when I use a local currency. Yes. So I bought my shares at $100 and now they are retailing for $20, which is possible, by the way. That has happened. If you invest in shares, can you tell us your story? Is it a good experience? Is it a mix of good, bad? How has it been? Okay, you'll find, and this is something I've emphasized time and time again. The best approach when you want to go the shares route, you need to get an expert to help you, guide you. Edwin, I can see your reaction, so it tells a lot. Yeah, so you need an expert to guide you as to when they are fluctuating, and sometimes they will tell you this thing is going south, so maybe it's time to sell it. and maybe this thing is going positive. Maybe it's time you put in some money on this particular share. They are able to kind of predict the market. Of course, it's like a gamble. It's not 100% assured, but based on previous experience, I'm sure they are able to guide you in a better perspective. Okay. So we invest in shares to beat inflation. You don't want your money to be stagnant. Like if you put your money in your mobile money and then at the end of the month you look at the balance and you're like, okay, has my money even done anything? But remember, you have to use this low risk to help you in growing. Because if you don't use this low risk, then you will not have an emergency fund and you will dig into your investment before it is time for you to earn the returns. So that is the whole essence. Okay. Then compounding returns, you can see you're earning in two ways. You get dividends and you get capital gains. Okay. Then you also want ownership participation, and participation, you want to be voting. Can you imagine, like now you have shares in Microsoft, you have shares in Apple, and you find yourself, yes, you may not have the voting rights, but you're benefiting with the returns that are available. And some of these companies, like I said, you can predict they continue to grow. Nowadays, everybody wants an iPhone. Everybody has this or the other gadget. So technology is one of the places that you will definitely get returns. Okay. Liquidity and flexibility. You can sell shares at any time. But remember the disclaimer I said, you cannot sell randomly because sometimes you may experience a loss. You have to get a way of knowing when to sell. Sorry. But you see that liquidity gives you comfort that you can sell at any time. But make sure you're not forced, maybe by an emergency or something that has made you sell them at a loss. Why were you investing there in the first place if you end up selling them at a loss? You get? Yeah. Then diversification of portfolio. We started, maybe you started with a piggy bank, you graduated to mobile money, you graduated again to a bank account, you went to money market fund. Now you're ready to take some extra risk. So this is the time for you to go now to the shares, and they will give you some better returns for sure if you're patient. The word is patient, but of course, you need guidance as to invest in the shares that will indeed give you returns. Okay. And based on the historical performance, it will guide you as to whether it's the right direction to go. Okay. I have said about the risk. The market is changing every time. Number one, the company can have any changes. I think maybe based on our experience with COVID, now people are ready for different things because that time some businesses really went down. And the most painful thing is that up to now, there are some people who have not regained their businesses, regained their life after COVID happened. Okay. Then, of course, there is economic risk based on the borders, the inflation, and those aspects. And I've already talked about the gains that you get. Yes. I would say it's also very volatile. You have to be ready to deal with some heartaches here and there, especially if if you're trying to get rich quick using shares. That will give you a lot of heartache, but if you are patient, you'll be able to see the returns. So it is based on your risk tolerance. What I have seen is that sometimes people have decided not to go straight to the company, and you get to pick from the options provided by these asset managers like also Kuza and Etika. They have products that align with shares, only that they now run your portfolio. You're not buying shares, say like Apple, Microsoft. You tell them, I want to invest this amount of money, and it's now up to them to decide which companies they're going to invest in. To some extent, it is a 50-50 approach because they might choose companies that will not give you returns. But remember, they have experience, so they will definitely look out for where you benefit. On the other hand, when and in this case, you're only getting returns from the asset managers. But if you buy shares directly, you're getting the capital gains and the dividends. So it's for you to weigh your risk appetite. It's for you to weigh your options and see where you would be comfortable. If you ask me, if you have capacity, you can take both directions. You can try through asset managers, and you can also try go through companies, because at the end of the day, that dividend, that small amount that you get in form of dividend will help you, and also it will grow your capital in terms of, if the shares appreciate, then you get to earn more. Okay. There are factors that help you in the risk tolerance. Um, which is the best investment on return? Which is the best investment on return on investment? Money market or stocks? The answer, this is from Plumbers. The answer is you cannot compare the two because of what I have just said. Number one, money market is constant. It will not lose much, if at all. It's what you will get is low margins in interest, but hardly will you lose. So you see where you're not losing, and here you can lose a lot. You cannot compare the two. The the stocks will give you high returns, but with the high returns, it also comes with high risk. So if today your money market is 50,000 and it is growing gradually, it is stable. When it comes to stocks, it is fluctuating. That is why it's more risky. Today, your shares, which were worth 50,000, I'm saying worth, because shares are based on cost per share, which were worth 50,000 today can go down to 30,000, or can even go up to 100,000. So you see, you cannot compare the two. The returns vary, the risk appetite vary. So for money market is for someone who wants stability and who is scared of risks and who is building an emergency fund and who is saving for specific goals. Okay? So let's look at it from the perspective of who are we targeting. On stocks, we are focusing on someone who is ready to take risks and who is ready for the consequences of the risks they are taking, who is ready to gain double the value of their shares, and who is ready to lose to half the value of their shares. I hope I've answered you. You can have shares today. One share is $100, and then tomorrow it is goes as low as even $40, and then next week the same share goes up to even 150, 180, or even 200. So it depends on your risk appetite and also the market. You can't say one is better than the other. What the goal is, who is it targeted for? The stocks are targeted for those people who are now ready to take risks and grow their investment, and they have and they have patience, and they have time to wait for when the market is a bit stable. So you may feel like the stocks will give you more money because you're earning in two ways. You're earning in terms of dividends and capital gains. But you see, dividends may fail to be paid on a certain year. Maybe the company reported losses. Uh, the share may not appreciate at a certain time, which means it is either stagnant or it has gone down. So it's the difference is that the shares are a bigger gamble and the money market is a bit stable, and they are for different target market. I hope it's clear. If it's not clear, you can comment down below. So I was talking about risk tolerance. Number one, your age can give you an advantage when it comes to risk tolerance. If you're younger now, you will be able to have more time to take risks as compared to when you're older and you're trying to gamble as to how to figure out how you will make your retirement. One moment. We respond to Mimi. Mimi, NSE now allows purchase of one share as opposed to the previous. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, so even if you want to buy one share, you can buy gradually. What I would not advise is you go deep into the shares before you understand how they work, and you go deep knowing the risk. Of course, we are told you can appreciate the risk. I don't know. I'll use a simple example. If you have gone to a zip lining, you sign a disclaimer form that you know the risk and you have accepted it. So whatever happens to you happens to you. So it's the same way as you walk into shares. You know the risk, you have appreciated it, and you're ready to get in. Yeah. So I see some comments and questions. Asterisk, advice please. Which special fund can I join that accumulates small amounts from different people? Those are the options of depending on your risk appetite again, you can go the different options. I think we can discuss this topic as a topic because I don't want to divert from shares. Make sure you join our subsequent lives. What I write it down here. So, special funds. So we can discuss special funds in the next live. Yes, so that we don't get mixed up in the process. But if you really want to sort it out, I have always said it's not good to procrastinate. You can always reach out to me. You can DM. I will give you feedback even as we wait to have the next meeting, the next live, sorry. Then we have Plumbers World Stores Limited. How is the best way to get quick returns on shares by offsetting them? The easiest way to make money on shares is to dividend hunt, but that is a very risky affair. You can buy shares before their books are closed. When you already know how much they are paying in returns, you get your dividends and maybe sell your shares immediately. But what I've seen in the recent past, especially the current market, is people are avoiding to buy shares, are buying shares as dividend hunters. And then what happens? Once you buy the shares, the price goes down. So you are stuck with the company. So unless you have some extra money somewhere, you buy the shares, and then at some point you will dispose them, but not immediately. That's the only way you can be able to quickly make some money from shares, but still not take a big gamble. So like you can't take a loan to buy shares because now you will pay loan with interest, and then what will happen is that you will not reap what you actually wanted to achieve, or you buy the shares, then you get the returns, and then what happens is that you lose on the value of the shares. So you have to have a calculated move, and that's why I'm insisting on professional guidance. If you go to those asset managers, they will tell you this is not the time to buy the shares. Just monitor or buy the shares knowing that your your returns will be there. You'll get the dividends, but don't plan to sell the shares immediately. Yes. By the way, where are shares trending? Like for you, who has bought shares this year or this in the last few months, why did you make the decision to buy? I'd love to know. So I hope I've answered you, plumbers. Then we have another one. At Mimi, shares are bought in bunches of 1,000 shares as minimum shares. So please engage the managers, the asset managers. They'll be able the stock exchange managers. They will be able to guide you unless no, yeah. So it's okay. So the next thing is what I have been saying is your financial goals, because if your goals are short term, then you don't have that long period to be able to work around what you're focusing on. Okay. Then we have emotional management. You know, there are people who put money expecting returns. Then when the returns don't come, you get sick. You have ulcers, you have, I don't know what, high blood pressure, and all those things. Shares is not where you try and gamble and put your, what is it called, and put your emotions to. Otherwise, you will be on medication as soon as you start investing. Unless what I've said, if you're a dividend hunter and you know you're targeting a specific portfolio or a specific company to be able to earn dividends, and you're ready to leave your money there for some time, because I think companies have identified the dividend hunters and they want to discourage. So you buy shares and then immediately they pay dividends, the price of the share goes down, so you can't sell it. So unless you have headroom not to be able to sell the shares at that time. Yeah. And of course, your risk appetite is key. Yes. I think I want to close it at this point. Um, if you want more details, you can reach out. We already have a write up that we can share. And also, I realized when I give too much, people don't end up taking everything. And I'm sure I've answered the questions that they were focusing on. I'm trying to see from my notes whether there is something that I have left out that you would want to decide. So, who can help you open the money market account? You need you need to contact someone who is listed on the stock exchange. Depending on your country, it just check and ensure that the person you're dealing with is listed in the stock exchange. Yes. So if you want more details, you can reach out. I just wanted to give a highlight and answer the questions that I have received. Yes. So maybe this is something I would want us to discuss. Well, I see a comment here. Faith Michael has said, anyone looking for a work opportunity in Nairobi, hit my inbox. If you have seen this comment and you're looking for a job, do your due diligence. Just get to understand what they do and make sure they are legit as you engage them. Otherwise, if they are legit, thank you, Faith, for reaching out. I've seen people here asking for job opportunities. So you can reach out to Faith and you can see if you make sure you do your due diligence to be certain. And also, Faith, as you're commenting, because we also want to help our audience, you can comment with the kind of jobs that you're offering so that when someone is reaching out, they know which jobs that, whether it's a job of interest, because you can't just say any job. And this is something I've also told job seekers: don't just look for a job, look for a specific job. Yeah, don't ever say, I'm looking for a job. Which job are you looking for? You need to come and tell someone, I'm looking for this kind of job. You have, it's also like when you are setting your goals, you need to know what you're getting yourself into. So don't be moved by hearing, oh, I'm looking for a job. Yeah, tell us which job you're looking for, so that if someone gets an opportunity or is in that field, they can actually help you out. Yeah. Yeah, so the common mistakes is poor decisions in investing in shares. I have just said people have, for the last few weeks, shares are trending. If you didn't know, now you know. And people have these rumors, these stories here and there about how to make money on shares, how to grow with your shares, and everything to do with shares. They are talking about them, and people have discovered that you can make money from shares. But the truth is, you have to have a calculated move, as I have explained. Don't be too emotional, don't be driven by what people are saying. Focus on your goals, and make sure that when you're aligning them with your goals, so that you don't suffer heartaches. That's the biggest problem that you can suffer. Yeah. Then you need to diversify your stocks, so that in case anything goes south, you'll be able to still sustain your investment, so that you don't have a depreciating investment. While if only you diversified, you'd be able to sustain your investment. Remember, investment is also a job. So don't think your job is to make money and then give someone to invest for you. No, you also need to participate fully in your investment journey. And that is why I say you have to understand what your investment is all about before you get into it. You know, I've realized people get into investments from emotional. Someone has said, oh, this one is making money. Then you quickly run to it. No, don't run to it. Be patient. It's sometimes it's not easy, but shares are not your get rich quick scheme. You will not get rich tomorrow. It takes time. So be patient and work on yourself, and work on your understanding about shares before you invest. Okay, then you have what I have said: lack of diversification. Do not put all your eggs in one basket, so that in case they break, you have something. And then you know how to time the market. Like I said, you need a professional to guide you, that person who does. And what I said before is that some of these professionals sometimes will give you false information to be able to hit their target. Maybe they want to open accounts and they want to have investors. So get yourself two or three opinions before you get in, if you don't understand the market. But if you do, then you can assess based on what the person will guide you. Yeah. In shares are for investment in long term, and it will teach you the power of patience. And for sure, you can find yourself getting returns over and over and over again. Okay. In conclusion, your next step: start small and gradually build your portfolio. If you're lucky to be able to start and you get more returns, you can actually invest back. Instead of taking the money, you invest back, so that you gradually grow your portfolio. They say you can buy small shares every month, and so that you diversify the risk. If you buy small, it will give you some level of peace. Sorry, it will give you some level of peace, as compared to buying in lump sum and then you get a heartache, and and then you get your blood pressure shooting. Yeah. Like I said, focus on long term growth when it comes to shares. They're not your quick, get rich quick vehicle. They will give you a headache. They will stress you. You will get sick. Yes. Stay disciplined and avoid emotional decision making. Don't make decisions because you have heard or other people are doing it. Sometimes what is working for others may not work for you, unfortunately. Yeah, or maybe you get misadvised, or you get yourself in some people even get advice and still decide to take their own decisions, which is the best, which is the easy way. Then remember, investing is a marathon, not a sprint. With patience, knowledge, and a solid strategy, you can grow your wealth and work towards your financial future. Okay. So if you need more details about investing in stocks, shares, you can always reach out. You can let us know. We will see how we can help. We have another question here. Which is the best investment currently? The truth is that there is no best investment for a specific period. And investments, they're not gambling, but they're like gamble, like you're gambling with your money. But if they're well calculated, they will give you returns. Like I have said, there are different products for different people. So your investment aligns with where you are as a person and where you want to go. You cannot wake up today, you don't have an emergency fund, and you want to invest in shares. You cannot wake up today and you want to grow your portfolio without understanding what it is all about. So, the best investment, number one, the best investment is investing in yourself, investing in your skills, invest in making more money yourself. And as when it comes to these other investments, which I know you're asking about, those should increase your passive income. So, investment is your active income, which you diversify to help you create a passive income. So, the best investment is yourself, not a certain portfolio. The best investment is yourself. You create the fund and then you let it grow. That is the reality. But when it comes to the investments, which I'm assuming is what you're asking, it means that it depends on the point you are at in your finances, not in your life. Because you may say, retirement is fast approaching. I want to finish. I want to get everything running helter skelter. I want to do this. Within the next 5 years, I'm retiring. Or maybe I want to retire before I'm 30. I want to retire before I'm 40. I want to retire before I'm 50. No, 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 no. It is dependent on where you are in life. So if you're just starting now in the journey of investment, just put aside your emergency fund, 6 to 12 months worth of living, and this is usually supposed to help you in case something happens to your main source of income. You have a fallback plan before you step on your next job. You don't want to be a payday to payday person that if today you lose your source of income, tomorrow you become a beggar and you had an opportunity to grow your income. And the reason we don't put our emergency fund in the stock market is because today the shares, okay, you may want dividends are not paid monthly. So the time you want money, maybe you can only sell your shares. And what will happen is that you will sell at the price of that day. Whether it is less than what you bought or more, you'll sell at that day. So you may have felt like you have progressed in terms of having an investment, but one day that investment is drained by your emergency. You may get sick. You don't have to lose your source of income, but you may get sick and you find yourself in a situation that you really need to get out of the same way. So, investment is in yourself in terms of creating active income. And then from the active income, you look for ways guided by professionals to create your passive income. Okay? And get to understand the whole process. You cannot invest your money before you invest in yourself. And the other key thing, as you create your on your journey to financial freedom, financial literacy is not optional. You have to understand end to end what you're getting into. Like I've always said, even when you're going to open an account, understand what it entails. If you want to open a money market as a starting point, what does it entail? If you want to start investing in stocks, what does it entail? So you have to understand each and everything before you get into it. And the only way for you to understand is financial literacy. Yes. So I see another comment. Thank you for your lessons. You're most welcome. So I'll give it about 5 minutes to answer any questions that you may have. If you have any questions, it's the time to ask the questions before we wind up. Today I'm very happy because the TikTok family was very interactive. I can't believe today people were engaging. And there is sometimes I'm begging you to engage. So thank you so much. I appreciate because at least I now feel I'm not talking to myself. Celine, just say thank you for the lesson. Yeah, even that is communication because it tells me you are engaging or you are attentive. For the new followers, you're most welcome. If this is your kind of content, be sure to get a video on TikTok every single day and Instagram. So you can make sure you follow us and you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that some of the videos you don't find here, the longer versions, you can find them on YouTube. Like the whole of this recording will be available on our YouTube channel right now. We are live on YouTube, which means you can rewatch from the beginning, even if you join the live somewhere along the way. Yeah. And what we say is that only join the page or only follow the page if this is your kind of content. Yeah. Because I want engaging community. You see, the way today it was engaging, that's what I like, so that we learn and grow together. Yes. I don't see any other question or comment. Yeah, so we can end it here. We have live every Sunday at 5 p.m. East Africa time. So you can always join our live. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to our DM or you can comment in any of the videos. We are definitely going to give you a feedback. Yes. When you see feedback taking long, just be sure it's because sometimes I'm overwhelmed, but I try to respond as much as possible. Yeah. For the ones who are joining now, you have not missed because the recording is on YouTube. You can just check our page, The Money and Growth Circle. No, I don't see any other questions. So thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for your participation. I like the participation today. Let's keep up. And if you are in the 30-week saving challenge or you want to join, the link is on the profile, both YouTube, Instagram, and actually for the three Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can always check us out and join the family. Yes. Yeah. So thank you and see you next Sunday. If you want us to do more live, we'll try and do more once, maybe twice a week. We'll see depending on the schedule. Yes. See you on the next one. Bye.